Welcome to Funnel Hacker Radio Podcast, where we go behind the scenes and uncover the tactics and strategies top entrepreneurs are using to make more sales, dominate their markets, and how you can get those same results. Here is your host, Dave Woodward.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Funnel Hacker Radio. I'm your host, Dave Woodward, and today you guys are in for a real treat. I am so excited to introduce you to our guest. She's actually going to become a dear friend of mine because we have very similar type of interest, and that's the interest as far as adventure. I'm huge on believing as far as experiences are much more than things, and I want to welcome at this time Natalie Sisson. Welcome.
Thank you. So excited to be here. I love that we're going to become dear friends. I'm really interested to hear about that.
I have been trying to get to your neck of the woods over there for quite some time. I have quite a few friends now in that area of the world, and my kids are dying to go down south. So it'd be fun to actually travel. And I know you've got homes in multiple places, in Portugal also, and down in Australia, New Zealand area as well. But again, I wanted to just kind of dive in and just talk quite a bit about you and everything you're doing. I think now, in fact, this is kind of a weird thing. I usually don't ever start a podcast off this way, but I'm going to tell everyone, I want you guys to write down the Suitcase. So go to suitcaseentrepreneur.com, and I want you to take a quiz. And the quiz there basically is, are you cut out to start and grow a freedom business? And that's really what we're going to talk about today. So Natalie, if you don't mind, as the CEO and the chief adventurer of Suitcase Entrepreneur, just kind of dive in and tell people a little bit about you and how you got started. Because you lived the life that so many people always dream of and think about when it comes to internet marketing.
I am so sorry. Can you just... Sorry, something just popped up on my computer and completely distracted me from your question. And I was trying to get rid of it. And then I was like, oh, he answered a question. I'm so sorry. Can you just ask that one again? And I'll totally be fully attuned to it. I'm just shutting that out now. Oh, my goodness.
That is not...
Sorry, I usually have my notification shut down and it went bing. And I was like,
That is no problem at all. So I love how candid it is. No, I'm all good for this. Russell's brother Scott's not going to know what to do with this recording. He's like, what are you guys doing? So this is live. This is how it works. And we're excited for it. No, so I basically encourage people to go to your site. Really, I want to help people understand you're living the life right now that most people dream of. And that is that whole idea as far as the suitcase entrepreneur, to be able to travel the world, do whatever you like. So if you don't mind, kind of describe a little bit about how you got into it, why it's important to you, and then obviously we'll jump in as far as talking more about ClickFunnels and why you've switched from other services and stuff. But tell us more about that right now as far as what is the Suitcase Entrepreneur all about?
I'd love to. For me, it is all about freedom. So I've been chasing the idea of freedom, both personally and in business, for probably the last 7 years. And I did it initially unwittingly. The minute I had any online sales in my business, which was mainly around educational programs, I was like, wait a minute, I don't need to stay in Vancouver, Canada, where I was at the time. I could take this on the road. So I literally just packed my bag, packed my life into a suitcase and took off to Buenos Aires, Argentina to see if I could make it work, which isn't what most people normally do when they have a really great network set up in a city and just starting to take off. But I decided to make it a little bit difficult on myself. And since then, it's just become this obsession, really. So how can I have more freedom in my life? And how can I set up a business that still delivers a ton of value to my awesome community, but doesn't mean I have to be working on it and even in it at any sort of point in time, the ultimate dream. And the interesting thing that I've learned along the way is that sorry to cut you off, but I really love still working with people and being in the company of others. And that's why I run retreats and events, because you probably know as well, when you're in the online world, it's very easy to just stay quite insular, or to sometimes not even see people. You might have conversations each day online, but it's not the same as being in person. So I guess I've worked out over the time what's good for my business and what's also good for my soul. And as much as I love automating things and having systems in place, I also still love the human connection and interaction. So it's been important for me to keep that part of the business as more personal.
So how do you go about balancing that?
Good question. That's a really great question. I think in the first couple of years when I was hustling to just make a business, I would meet anybody, anywhere. I'd hold meetups around the world. Every city I was coming into and every country I was going to, I'd make sure that I reached out to my community and we had meetups. And then interestingly, what's happened in the last couple of years, Dave, is that I think I did that too much. So now I'm very, very protective of my time and my energy. And I just want to meet with awesome people who can share things with me, who can teach me something, who I can add value to them. And I've become much more protective of my time. And it's been a really good balance to see that I've got to retain enough energy by doing my own things and looking after me in order to be able to give energy back to the people that I love in my community, on my list, etc., and my customers. So it's been a constant balance. And I think as your business grows, you have to be more mindful of like where the priorities are and what you get the most out of and how you can scale and give back to the most people. So it's always a work in progress.
I think that's fantastic. I know that balance to me is one of those things that is always changing. I mean, it drives my wife crazy at times. I love what I do, and so I spend a ton of time doing what I do, but the one thing she's been really big on this last year is, this year, again, we're in January, so I'm a whole, 24 days into this, is just really trying to be as present as I can be when I'm with her or when I'm with the kids, so that I get easily distracted by work because I love what I do. But at the same time, I've realized how important it is that when I'm with her, when I'm with the boys, that, you know what, I'm 100% present, and I try not to look at my phone, and I'm sure she can start assessing penalties to me for looking at my phone or anything else when we're in public. But no, I think that it's an important thing as far as family goes, and just as far as relationships, that you're out there and as you build those relationships. Obviously, we joked around about, we just moved from San Diego up here to Boise, and the majority of my friends, actually, I was in San Diego area for 19 years, and I had definitely had a network there and everything else, but I have traveled so much and I've worked in so many different places that the majority of the people I actually know really well are in literally around the world right now. So it's kind of an interesting situation. Right?
Yeah, and I think that's the same for me as well. I'm currently in Wellington, New Zealand, which was where I was born, but I've been away for a good sort of 10 years, and I come back and visit every year. And I don't have that many people that I know here. I certainly have a small network, and it's growing, but most of my friends are around the world, predominantly in Europe, in North America, and Asia. And so I love that I get to travel to see them, but also that I'm creating experiences this year and beyond for them to come and be with me. Partly why I'm buying the properties, but I really want to turn my properties into freedom houses and places where people can come and visit and spend time. So it's part of my plan.
I've noticed you've become quite the real estate developer here. So.
I know, right? So odd for somebody who lives out of their suitcase. I have 3 properties. I just sold one, but I feel like they're just really good investments. I've always loved real estate, and I think to have different revenue streams coming in, not just relying on an online business, is really smart. And second, there's a plan and purpose behind it. I think I've just really craved a base, having been living out of a suitcase for 7 years, pretty much full time. I'm now craving bases where I can just make them my own, and also invite people into my home, and also have people rent them if they want, and discover what it feels like to just be totally set up in a city of your choice and have everything, for you. Internet, fully furnished, even a car. That's the kind of aim that I'm going for with the properties.
I think that's awesome. That's really exciting. We actually are, again, we're joking around about where we live right now in the Boise area, and we just finished. Actually, by next week we'll be in our new building for ClickFunnels, and we're looking at actually building a house. And I've looked at possibly building a second, either something above the garage or a basement or something, to allow people basically who come to ClickFunnels to actually be able to stay. So huge real estate mind. I've done a ton of real estate. I love it. So I don't know. We'll see what.
Oh, that's so cool. We are going to be besties.
Yes, we are. Definitely. So let's kind of dive in right now as far as how do people actually do what you do? What do you recommend a person, if they want to get started as far as really enjoying this whole idea as far as the suitcase entrepreneur, how do they go about doing that? What are some of the
I guess I should be really clear on what I do actually do. And I guess if I distill it down into one thing, I guess I'm really good at monetizing you. So I can see potential in people straight away. I can see the intersection between what they're good at, what they enjoy doing, and what people will pay them for, which is the sweet spot, right? But not a lot of people can see that for themselves. And I think it's much harder to apply that to yourself than to anybody else. So in my coaching and my online education and my courses, and even in my blogs and podcasts, I'm always trying to help people to basically monetize themselves and really look at what they love doing and getting paid to do the stuff that they enjoy and are good at, because everybody has their own unique talents that somebody else is willing to pay them for. And that has helped me build a business around my abilities and skills. And for the longest time, I think that is to help people take action and to simplify the complex. Those are the sort of the two things that I'm all about. So when it comes to tools, technology, I always try to reduce the overwhelm and say, here's the best thing you could be doing right now, and here's how to make it happen. And I'm a huge fan of taking action, and I'm the least favorite fan of procrastination, also known as perfectionism. And I hate it when I also get into that mode myself. So what I suggest for people wanting to do this for themselves is to get, first off, really, really clear on what they want out of business and life, because where I guess I differentiate, or I would like to see more people heading, is look at what the lifestyle that you want and then create a business that fits it and supports it, not the other way around. And I'm going to pick on the US a little bit here because I feel you guys work way too hard. You take far too little in terms of holidays, and everybody sort of espouses over there that I see, like, the big deals. Even though I love Gary Vaynerchuk, I can't stand the fact that he's like, you've got to work all the time, you've got to hustle like crazy. That he even said that he wanted to clone himself so he could spend more time with his family. I'm like, why not just spend more time with your family? Like, you're self-made billionaire. And so I guess I really want to get people out of that mindset. Like, life should be happening to you right now. You seem like you're doing a great job of it, but it's right in front of you. So why are you working so freaking hard so that one day you can retire and enjoy it, as opposed to right now?
Well, I definitely need to make sure I keep you away from my wife now. I can tell. So this is no, but I totally agree with you. I think that's one of the most important things I've seen in any business, and that is you've got to be able to, you work hard, but you have to play hard. And you're probably right. I think here in the States, we probably don't play as much as we should.
Yeah. I mean, some people do, and they've got it really right. But it's a mindset shift and an attitude shift. And if you go to Europe, for example, I mean, those guys have it down pat. They take 6 weeks off minimum, up to a couple of months. They don't stress about the full-on hours. They are successful in what they do. They have a healthy dose of life and family and career going on. And they're genuinely happier for it, quite often I see. So less is more in most cases, and that also sort of holds true to your working hours. The fewer hours that I give myself in a day to work, the way more productive I am, and I actually work on the priorities as opposed to stretching the work to fit the day. So it's just this mindset shift about what's important to you.
I would love to kind of spend a little more time on. I think that is the problem most people struggle with, is they never really set deadlines that they hold themselves to. And because of that, the work just keeps going and going and going. There's never an end. Again, it kind of goes back to that whole idea. You get so much more done before you ever go on a vacation or a trip, just because you got to get it done. And unfortunately for a lot of us, especially, I see it happen a lot with people who work from home, where it never ever ends. And, I can do a little more. And so all of a sudden it becomes this obsession. And it's not that you're actually getting more quality work done. You're just working more hours. And so the quantity, you got a lot of quantity, but the quality is totally diminishes. So I agree. There's got to, how do you really help people in that area? Because I know it's something I probably need to work on, but how do you work less and get more done?
I was going to say 2 words, Pomodoro sessions. They're my best friend and I love them. And I don't know if you probably used them before, but essentially it's not a tomato, even though there is a Pomodoro tomato. It's the name of the method, and it's 25 minutes on and then between 2 to 5 minutes off. And it sounds crazy, but you work pretty insanely on one thing, just one task for 25 minutes. It might be writing a chapter of your book. It could be working on a sales funnel. It might be writing a new blog post. It could be researching something around your customers. And then at the end of that 25 minutes, the timer goes off. You set it on your phone. You set it on your clock. You can use something like Focus Booster app, which is free. And then you take a short break. You stretch, you get up, grab a glass of water, and then you go back to it. And a lot of people don't get that we actually need breaks to be able to be more effective, to reoxygenate, to get more focus again. And they think that if you interrupt a task, it's really off-putting. But in this case, they've proven through research over many, many years that you're way more productive when you condense it down into a 25-minute session. And so I just set a bunch of Pomodoros, no more than 3, max 4 in a row. And after that, you need to take a good half an hour break. You need to go for lunch. You need to do a workout. You need to hang out with your dog or your loved ones. But it's amazing how it works. And so currently right now I'm running something called Write the Damn Book, where for 3 months people are helping me write my damn book and I'm helping them write it. And every week we've been turning up for like 2 to 3 Pomodoro sessions in a row. And I've literally written 5 chapters of my book over the last week as a result, just because I turn up, I do the work, I set a timer, and that's all I'm focusing on. And you can do that for every single task and activity in your day. And why? Because, as you know, constraints work. So if you said, I've only got 3 hours a day, I'm going to do back-to-back Pomodoros, you would probably astound yourself with how much more you get done versus I've got from 9 till 7 o'clock.
And that's how most of us do it. I'm actually taking some notes here. I love that. I'm going to actually implement that starting today. I'm going to do that this afternoon. I'm really kind of excited to do that. It's
amazing. You've got to stick with it, but it really, really works. It's quite incredible.
I love all the types of productivity hacks. And I saw on your site today, you've got a ton of stuff for how to be more productive in 2017. I thought that was really neat as far as some of the tips and tricks you had there. So again, I think that's just amazing as far as the idea that you can actually be more productive in less time and have more fun. So I just love the idea. So in fact, I've got a good friend of mine. I don't know if you know Mike Dillard, but he's...
I know of him.
Okay, so yes. Mike, actually, I was just talking to him just the other day about this, and his what he loves to drive, he loves racing Porsches. I mean, that's just his pastime. He's always loved it. So he wanted to race his car more often. And so he's actually created, his day stops at 2 o'clock every single day. So he's basically setting everything up in his life so that by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, his day is done. So he can go ahead and go out and race his cars and do the things that he really wants to do. And I thought, you know what? I'm sure everyone kind of sits back and thinks, well, yeah, Mike's at that point in his life, or he's got enough money and things. But I think the only way you actually get to that point in your life, or you get that kind of money, is you have to have the discipline early enough to reward yourself as you go. I don't know if you've experienced that. I'm assuming you probably have.
Absolutely. I mean, his reward is to go off and race that Porsche. Mine is to go off and do CrossFit, or spend the afternoon with my friends, or go out kayaking, or go and learn more surfing. And I know when I was in Portugal, I was getting into a really good habit there, is that I'd actually start off the day and I'd go for a surf lesson first thing, sort of around 8 or 9 a.m. It would last a couple of hours by the time you get down there and go through instructions and come back out. And then after it, you're ravenous, so you go and have some food. And then by the time you get back, it's kind of like midday. And the beauty about that is you haven't checked anything, you haven't done any emails, nothing. And then you kind of get onto it, crack on for the afternoon. Or the flip side is to reverse that and do everything in the morning, and then break something up in your day with something that you have to go and do, whether it's going to get a massage, going for a lesson or something, booking in a lunch or an afternoon coffee, something that breaks up your day and takes you out of the working environment, so you have to stop. It's genius.
I think that's fantastic. I look forward to doing that. That's so I want to make sure this Pomodoro, that's Pomodoro, is that right?
Yeah, it is. And I'm happy to share a link to a stupid little fun video I did about Pomodoros. And I think I've written about them several times on my blog. So happy to share that link. It's on YouTube. It's pretty funny.
If you want to share it now, it's fine. Otherwise, we'll put it in the show notes, whatever's easier for you, if you know what it is.
I wouldn't know the lovely YouTube URL, but I will send it to you.
Send it to me. We'll put it in the show notes for sure. Well, you know, the cool thing, we actually got connected because I really didn't know that much about you until all of a sudden you started popping up everywhere recommending ClickFunnels, which I was shocked. I was like, well, who is this lady in New Zealand, basically, who's talking about ClickFunnels? So how did you get connected with us, and why are you such a big fan?
It's funny because when I do fall in love with a product, I tend to shout from the rooftops about it. And last year was a particularly challenging technology year. Up until 2016, things have been running pretty smoothly. I was using a variety of different tools. And I just decided in October, after, I'm not even going to say, half a year or more of struggling with Infusionsoft and things going wrong, I was like, that's it. So I just did a complete breakdown of all the tools I was using, which ones were working well, which ones weren't. And I had seen a really great recommendation from my friend Jody Jallis, who had switched over to ClickFunnels. I was going to say Confusionsoft. She'd switched from Confusionsoft to ClickFunnels and a few other things. And I watched her video through, and then I saw a few other people doing it. And I'd also got Russell's book way earlier last year as well, and I really liked what he was talking about. So I checked it out then, but I wasn't ready to make the switch. But the reason being is that, just my current tools were failing me, and I wanted to change it up. So I actually changed everything. I changed my email provider. I know you guys do email, but at the time I'd already agreed to try out ConvertKit. I changed to ClickFunnels, and you guys sync really beautifully with them, and Teachable. So I moved all of my online education from disparate WordPress sites and customized things that were failing to one platform on Teachable. And so those are my three, like I call them the Holy Trinity now for paid online tools that I love. And then my other tools, the Holy Trinity, are Google Drive, Asana, and Slack. So that's how my entire team communicate and how we do everything. So I feel like I'm really set now. Like my 6 tools I've dialed in, and I'm just loving it. I actually just reached my funnel limit, which I was a little bit bummed about the other day. I was like, really? I've already set up the funnel limit, so I might need to look at upgrading. But I really love the interface. And more importantly, I think I love the community that Russell and you guys have built behind it. Like there's very few, I think, software platforms that also hold events and have people like in a Facebook group and have weekly live updates and just have people going, hey, did you know you could do this and this? I think that's the beauty of it for me.
Well, thank you. You know, we're very big into culture, and we joke all the time about whether we're building a cult or really a culture here. But the idea behind it, it's kind of we've learned a lot from Steve Jobs and the whole Apple movement and everything else. But the idea there, and I think again, I hope everyone who's listening, yes, obviously this is kind of a fun little pitch for me regarding ClickFunnels. But more importantly, that I hope you guys are learning from us and really learn from Natalie as well, that the importance of building a culture and of building a group, a community, because that's what attracts people. Anybody can have a product, but when you take a look at your own products and things, and again, I've loved going through your site, Natalie, and take a look at things because you're so true to your brand or true to your image and the message that you convey. You're giving so much to your community, and I think that's what draws people in.
Yeah, I would hope so, because we put a damn lot into our content and all that. Like, there's so much free stuff and great value out there that really does build trust over time. And I think the transparency is probably the other thing that we really aim to be. Like, I'm happy to share my screw ups and my mistakes so long as people can learn from them. I'd like to see more of that out there, actually, rather than everybody looking so perfect all the time, because it's like it's not all roses and butterflies. I don't even know where that term came from, but it's not. In my world it is, but not always in business.
No, I totally agree. I think that transparency is one of the things. It was really kind of interesting that, again, here I am being totally transparent. Obviously, we had an issue with ClickFunnels and Amazon this last week, which just threw us through the roof, or just from a server standpoint issue on their side. But it was interesting where Russell ended up doing 3 Facebook Lives during the 3-4 hours that we had some issues with that. I was on a flight at the time and was on the internet just going back and forth, trying to answer as many Facebook posts and comments as possible, trying to let people know that we were aware of them, that we cared about them, that we were really out there trying to keep the community together, but more importantly that we understood that that's people run their whole business and their life on ClickFunnels. And whenever there's an issue, we try to be as transparent as possible about that. And I think that for us, it was kind of an interesting thing as we, as executives, we kind of took a seat back and looked at it the day after. And it was, obviously we've done different things to try to make sure it doesn't happen in the future. But the feedback that we had from our community was amazing. And I can't thank our community enough for just as being as open and forgiving and willing. But I think a lot of that does come from the leadership and from being transparent and letting people know about that and communicating with them instead of hiding behind, something that may appear that it's not going as well as you want it to.
100%. Absolutely.
So Natalie, tell me, as far as you're looking at 2017, what are some of the main things you're trying to accomplish this year?
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm actually taking a business sabbatical. So I'm pretty much taking up to a year off my business. It's going to be a great experiment to see if everything that I've taught people over the years about outsourcing and systems and sales funnels is going to work. And I'm super excited. I feel I've had 7 years in business. It's going really well, but I've kind of just recently, with all those things that happen with tech issues and stuff, I was like, you know what? I think I want to take a break. I want to come back refreshed. I want to come back with new ideas. I want to take a break from the whole sort of world and niche that I live in and get some external references and sources. And the year that I'm taking off is all focused on freedom. So I'm going on a quest for freedom. I hope you don't mind. I'm doing that over at nataliesisson.com. So it's separate to the Suitcase Entrepreneur, but still going to tie back, because essentially I'm going to be delving deeper into what does personal freedom mean? What does financial freedom mean? What's relationship freedom? What's social freedom? And I'm hoping all the learnings of becoming a student of life this year are going to really come back twofold for when I'm back in my business. So looking forward to ClickFunnels and my team and other things that I have set up, kind of running the show while I'm away and seeing whether my business grows or stagnates or whatever it does. I'm really excited.
So where are you gonna live? Where are you gonna go? How's it gonna work?
I am going to be traveling, but I mean, I've traveled all the time, but I'm just looking forward to traveling for the sake of traveling. And I am going to be heading back to Portugal. First off, I'm going to Bali to run my final retreat. I run this Freedom Mastermind retreat there. I'm holding my birthday there. I'm having a big birthday, turning 40 years young, and I've got friends and family coming out from around the world. And they've got this amazing retreat space for that. Then I'm heading to London to see Tony Robbins. He's one of my big mentors, and I know Russell's worked with him in the past, and I'm just super excited about seeing him live in person. I don't know, I just want to see the man, the myth, the legend in person. Heading to Portugal to go back to my place, continue to learn to surf and learn the language. And then I've got some other adventures planned, like Brazil for kite surfing and stuff. But I'm going to be traveling a little less, but just taking myself to places where I can learn more about freedom and society and culture.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, as we get close to wrapping things up here, anything else that you want to let people know about, Natalie?
No, I guess I just say to be really, really clear once again on what you want out of life and business. And then the biggest lesson for me is freedom is actually all about discipline, which is ironic because I think I moved away from that for so long. And the more discipline I have and the more systems I put in place and the more sales funnels, the better my life gets and the more free time I have and the more money and time and value I kind of bring into my life and into others. So it's my number one tip for people is just focus on what you want your life to look like and design it.
I think that's fantastic. Again, everyone, I highly recommend you go head over to the Suitcase Entrepreneur and take Natalie's quiz. Are you cut out to start and grow a freedom business? Natalie, thank you so much. And again, love to connect with you sometime whenever you're at least on the North American continent. We'll see if we can get together.
Yeah, I've never been to Boise, so you never know.
It's a destination place. I mean, everybody's coming here, so.
That's not what I heard, but I'm sure because maybe they are.
Natalie, thanks again. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Funnel Hacker Radio Podcast. If you'd like to be notified anytime we release a new episode, just subscribe over at funnelhackerradio.com. In addition to that, we'd love to send you a free gift. You can find that free gift at funnelhackerradio.com/free trial. One last thing is we love giving away cars. So if you'd like access to a free dream car, all you have to do is go to funnelhackerradio.com/dream car and you'll get all the details. Thanks again for listening.